June 16th, 2014, and we are here for our City Council work session on the budget. And today, we are going to hear from the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Acre Center for the Arts, and the Downtown Statesboro Development Authority. Not all at one time, but in succession, just in case there's any confusion. And y'all gonna give us an update as we open up this work session on your particular entities, how you ended up this year, what your next year looks like, what your needs are, what you need from council, what you'd like to ask for, all those good things. So I believe that we are going to start with, if I read that correctly, the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I kind of like your retro first slide. So we'll be speaking on behalf of.
That's what we'll go with the retro first slide. I guess we should be, let's be somewhat formal. I don't know how formal I want to be, but I'm Darren Van Tassel, and today I'm going to wear my hat of president of the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau. But because I'm also a professor and a business owner, standing behind the podium, they're always hard things to do. I'm just talking to the whole room. What we want to do, guys, we've got some stuff that we will present to you and do exactly what the mayor has asked. Really, it's an information session. It's a chance for us to help you get to know us better. We thought we'd do that beginning with, and inside of our 20-minute slot, is by showing you a small movie. And because we're in charge of entertainment and tourism, all things exciting, we can't watch movies without having popcorn. So we brought you some today. We brought some for the whole room. And I think one of the things that we're really proud of that David Hines can help me pass them out.
Okay, you win.
The last thing was, I didn't know it was a competition. Today's real easy. We've got 3 groups that are all easy to pull for, so it's that part makes it real simple. But anyway, if we can hit play, I think we really set the stage for where we want to go.
Without their knowledge and resources here, community partners would not get the same value from an agency like ours. I'm Lori Hennessy. I'm with the Georgia Department of Economic Development. I'm the tourism project manager for the Magnolia Midlands Travel Region.
They help us for sure. I look at them as an extension of our sales office. I'm Jack Forstrom, general manager of the Holiday Inn in Statesboro. Last year we hosted a group of approximately 40 to 50 travel writers.
Statesboro CDB and Vidalia Area CDB partner together to bring in those travel writers to this community.
Just having that one-time event and still what we see from it, it's great. And you can't put a price on that type of, those types of things.
And Heidi is still getting ads and articles and things that are coming from those writers having been here.
They actually are able to market our facility statewide, regional as well as statewide. My name's Steve Brown. I'm the Aquatics Division Manager here at Splash in the Borough. And we were able, through the CBB, get with local hotel owners in the county or in our area and kind of let them know what we got going on and maybe get on board with some of the hotels to help promote that package as well as the clubhouse and Splash in the Borough further.
Statesboro is evolving into this world-class place to visit. Jeffrey Grant, Director of Human Resources at the City of Statesboro. The Borough 5K started about 2 years ago. They allowed us to kind of see it beyond what it is, not just Bullitt County, not just Statesboro, not even just Georgia, but how can we market this program, how can we market this initiative on a regional level, and so that we can attract people to this area.
One of the things that we are doing this year is a Visitor Information Center at Hartsville-Jackson Airport. And Hunter Cattle Company was selected by our marketing team to actually focus on the agriculture and agritourism of Georgia. So that is a huge deal to have a business in Bullitt County going to be featured in one of the busiest airports in the world.
Not only have they marketed Hunter Cattle and our family, but they've taught us ways to market our family, our business, our farm. My name is Deborah Ferguson. I am the chief cook and bottle washer for Hunter Cattle Company. And without them, I'm not sure exactly where we would be. I know we would have missed a lot of opportunities because, especially the Georgia Traveler.
You know, our show reaches over 120,000 people every week. David Zelski. I'm a host producer with Georgia Traveler and Georgia Public Broadcasting. Look at each show getting viewed by 100,000 people, multiply that by 5 times a week, multiply that by 52 weeks a year. There's a lot of viewing going on.
Every time they rerun that, we see the spike in people Googling us and our website traffic.
The CVB, it's all about hospitality, making you feel welcome. I think that's part of the reason we just keep coming back to Statesboro. I'd know about football if it wasn't for the CVB.
Bureau helps us advertise those events we have on campus and help us get the good word out about what Georgia Southern brings to the community. I'm Brooks Gill, I'm the 12th president of the greatest university in America, Georgia Southern University. We as a university typically will be responsible for ourselves bringing in about 160,000 unique visitors to the Statesboro area every year. Those folks don't want to just spend their time within the confines of Georgia Southern. They want to be able to explore Statesboro and the Bullitt County area and see all the wonderful things that our community has to offer. And there's no way that we can begin to provide that sort of information to visitors. We just don't have the expertise and the resources to do that.
ESPNU is going to be televising Georgia Southern football game on a Thursday night. Appalachian State is coming to town. I'm Jan Moore, Mayor of Statesboro, Georgia. It's Parents Weekend, so instead of canceling Parents Weekend, they're going to keep it. So you'll have people coming into town Thursday night for the game, and then 4,000 parents are expected. And the Convention and Visitors Bureau will be the entity on our side that will spearhead that in conjunction with working with Georgia Southern, because they do see the big picture. They see all the facets of Statesboro and what we can do.
I was in their office and we was talking, and all at once they said, "How would you like to be in Georgia Magazine?" My name's Don Poe. I'm with the Kiwanis. I'm the rodeo co-chair of Statesboro Kiwanis Club. For instance, for the rodeo, they have put us in so many different advertising mediums that I had no idea they even existed. This has helped make that a huge success. When they say they're going to do something to help you out, by golly, they help you out.
We can show that there's about 1,100 jobs created in Bullitt County from tourism businesses, which is a big number for a community this size.
The CDB is absolutely taking part in economic development. Benji Thompson, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Development Authority of Bullitt County. The things they do so well bring so much economic activity to our community, and that means a lot too. But what we're trying to do when we bring particularly a new business prospect into town is to show them not only the resources we have for their facility to come here, but also what it would be like to live here.
They know where everything is. They can turn over any rock and tell you what to do in Statesboro.
All of those things that the CDB spends so much time letting us know about the activities that are going on, those are the things we try to show to people when they come to town and think about Statesboro, Bullitt County.
The fact there's a lot to do here, but also good people, make you want to find a reason, make you want to let other people know about the great places and things to do in Statesboro, including the place right behind.
This community itself is a beneficiary of what the CVB does. Dawn Carty, president of E.G. Technical College. You know, you see that in the restaurants that have located here. You can see the impact it's had with the new hotels. Our programs, from hotel restaurant management to culinary to even our maintenance and electrical programs, are directly impacted by the success of the CVB. They serve many of these restaurants and hotels, and even the CVB itself serves as practicum sites for students in our programs. And when they're successful, then our graduates are successful.
They're far exceeding the expectations as far as population. I mean, it's still a rural community, and they're doing some really tremendous things as far as development projects. The CDB works with us every year with our tournaments, our adult and youth baseball tournaments. Bronny Gaines, Marketing and Communications Coordinator with Statesboro, Bullitt County Parks and Recreation. This year, we have one weekend that they've helped us promote that is attracting 55 teams in one weekend. And we could not do that without them. Where you're looking at 55 teams times 15 players, plus coaches, plus we average 2 to 3 per family coming. That's a lot of people per weekend. And we have over 24 weekends a year. They're staying here, they're eating here, and it's all thanks to CVB. because of the efforts that they do and the different things that they help with the businesses locally. There's a savings of almost $320 per household every year in tax relief.
If the CVB did not exist, we could not reach those people statewide. We just don't have that kind of operating budget for marketing.
So I think what you would see is a stymieing of growth on both the university and the community. So it'd be a tremendous loss.
Everything that Statesboro has to offer, they package it in such a unique way.
Yeah, they're great people over there. Hyde does a wonderful job, and it's a pleasure to work with those guys.
They really do care. They really truly want to see Statesboro, Bullitt County, and the surrounding area really attract people to it.
They care about us and take care of us.
Hey, when they say they're gonna try to do something for you, they're gonna try and do it. It's not just mouth service.
We value our relationship with them. They have been a partner from day one.
We've had a great relationship over a number of years.
Did you know that the Tick Museum was here? You know, the CVB let me know about these amazing things.
I am a big fan.
We're very blessed to have an organization that is that good at what they do in a town our size.
Heidi and Becky are so simple to work with, and they're willing to go so far beyond what you would ask anyone to do for you.
They're great at giving options to help people extend that stay and provide more tax revenue to come into this county, which in turn helps everybody that lives here.
We thought the video would be helpful to see, and Cindy, thanks for that slideshow real quickly. Really, the CPB, you know, from our standpoint, I know today it's about really just trying to, I know it's a budget meeting, but I think it's really helpful for us to really begin to talk about who we are and what we think we do so we can keep those things sort of clear and intact. But for our standpoint, we really see ourselves as an economic development engine. Whereas, and tourism really is where it gets most of that particular focus. I think sometimes we can make the mistake that we think that athletics are just about entertainment. You know, the CVB is not just a place that hands out brochures to people that walk in. I mean, that's part of what we do, but there's a lot more than just that. Cindy, you might have to click through for me from there. So you don't have to remember all this. That thing goes. We made copies of it for it. So we've got some leave behinds. So don't even feel like you have to take notes from it. I wonder how will do now. There you go. Just stay there. This is our official vision statement. Maybe it was working. To promote the city of Statesboro and the county to attract visitors, create jobs, and enhancing the economic vitality of Statesboro and Bullitt County. Let me see if I can give it a shot. And nope, I definitely will need you. Move to the next slide. As a destination marketing organization, this is a phrase that's used by the economic folks throughout the state. And this is where we are charged as the chief destination marketing organization for Statesboro, Bullitt County, the region, state, and to the country. And that becomes really important because our job is really to promote all the things that we're doing here. And we'll manage all aspects of tourism and everything along the way. A couple of things, until I got involved in the CVB, I have to tell you, I didn't know these sorts of definitions either. A tourist actually has a real definition, someone who travels from 50 miles away or further. That's where our reach and our efforts tend to be. We want them to be on there. And there's also another big item here. It's a $126 million business here in this, in just Statesboro. All those numbers, by the way, those aren't our numbers, they're coming from the Georgia Department of Economic Development. The big kicker here, and this is where the tourism part is really important, I think, to grab a hold of, because it really has been fairly recession-proof for us here locally. In the last 10 years, we've jumped 82%, 30% in the last 3 years, and even during the recession, we saw growth every particular year. The only year, by the way, that we didn't have growth in that figure was 2010, and that was the only year we didn't have a full-time executive director really running the show. From our standpoint, we felt that made a big difference, and it shows up in the hotel and motel amounts of people staying here in town. And 2010 was that only year for decline. Kevin Langston. Kevin's really one of the key power brokers in the state on tourism. I think he leaves this really nice quote, and it was kind of him to make that point that tourism is economic development. That's a message we are constantly wanting to sell here. It is one of the main drivers, and he says some very kind things to us about Statesboro too. You got some of this in the video, just as a couple reminders. 1,000 tourism jobs in Bullitt County. These are 2013 numbers, 2014 clearly we're not done. 126 million in direct spending. Again, those aren't our figures, they're coming from the state. And then this amount of savings that are in there. This is pretty cool. Top 30 in Georgia in terms of how in tourism expenditures is where our county ranks out of 159. And if you take Metro Atlanta out, which we know sometimes that can skew things, we rank 23rd. Beta Johnson, who's Georgia Department of Economic Development, named us recognized one of the top 3 regional visitor centers out of 62 in Georgia. By the way, that does include Metro Atlanta in terms of those stats. A great deal of our time and effort does go to generating hotel stays. We see that as a key part of what we're doing, and generating that revenue in terms of how we're promoting tourism, how we're promoting it in magazines, getting people located, getting them placed. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. Georgia Southern's golf course was just recently named as one of the top new golf courses in the United States by Golf Digest magazine. Golf Digest, if you're a golfer at all, it's in a lot of people's homes. But the way Golf Digest knew about that was because of the efforts by the CVB to put that in front of them. And that's what marketing firms do, right? They get out there and do that, and we really see ourselves as being the marketing firm, for all the things that are in our particular area. Just some quick numbers, well over 200,000 visitors that were assisted, at least in our last fiscal year, tourists and visitors, and we're already up over 2014. You can see where some of the numbers are. We had to be closed for 6 weeks since we found a nice new building to live in, so we're very pleased about all that. Again, those are indicative of so many positive things that are going on. You can't be a marketing agency for something that doesn't have something really, really good to market. But I will tell you, as we are growing and finding better ways to market it and even more interesting things in which to do it with, the ability to do that, we've sort of got to poke through what our sort of ceiling is on all of that. Okay. To me, these are some staggering numbers. The way in terms of marketing firms and the way they recognize what market outreach is and exposure. Over 17 million. Those come in all the form of everything from magazines, from newspapers. There's all the social media that can do and then are generating those things. And those are pretty spectacular things, whether they are travel writers placed in magazines or getting newspapers in Knoxville and Seattle. Here's some of those that have been featured. And again, we're trying to really find all those things that are there. Personally, I can tell you as a business owner and entrepreneur at the clubhouse, it's been very helpful for me to see all that. Is it in terms of what's done, because I have to stay consistent. Again, those things will be down there for you. 188 million just in terms of food and we've spent a great deal of time in the visitor centers around the state. Folks are stopping there, so we're getting car traffic from those areas. In terms of the Savannah area, you can see what those numbers are. Augusta, I-20, Sylvania, we get that. We literally have exhibits in those places that are on front counters, so we can get that sort of exposure in terms of what we're doing. And this is really just a list of, that's why I want to really make sure I'm staying within my 20 minutes here. 100,000 marketing and promotional materials. We are the camera-ready liaison from the state for Statesboro and Bullitt County. That means anytime motion pictures are looking for everything from the barn that fits just the right place. If they're looking for something that's downtown, they have a list of things that were there. We've organized and meshed all those things with the city and the county to make certain that when they want to come and film that they're here. Those requests always come in confidentially. They're very interested to see when they do turn into movies. and as the state itself is pushing the movie industry and trying to make Georgia much more friendly, Statesboro is ready to receive those sorts of things. We, of course, do welcome packages. We've seen a significant increase in our hotels and overall gross revenues. I think there's been a couple of huge breakthroughs that we have had. Some of those have to do with, I think, change of personnel at the university, but quite frankly, the relationships that we've sought to nurture the last 3 or 4 years, and I think we've made tremendous headway with both the on campus at Georgia Southern in terms of admissions, in terms of athletics. We partnered with, in terms of hosting the first Sun Belt Championships that were here. We have for years in this city and all the other groups that I've been a part of tried to make those formal connections with the university, have them reach out. We've now broken through those sorts of things, and they're coming and asking for them. In fact, some of the fantastic events that we're doing downtown all the time, that Alan is headed, quite frankly, we've been able to help reach out and get buses to come down there to those things, and that has never happened. We've talked for, since those buses first showed up on campus, about getting those down to campus and have parents and students here. And once you've done it one time, it's going to be a lot easier for us to do it in future events. Quite frankly, I think that ought to be a huge priority, at least for things that we could do, whether they're for events or just a permanent sort of thing. But I think the groundwork's there. And then, of course, some of the fun things that are going to go on with South Main Revitalization Committee, we've been happy to serve a part in all that. And of course, we're most proud of the new home that we have. It looks probably best at nighttime along the way. And I think our traffic has already probably doubled in terms of what's there. But there are really 3 important things about that I think that are important to know. It's a great example of sort of public-private partnerships, both in terms of what the city was able to do with us in that regard, but also the money we were able to raise from our tourism partners to significantly reduce about $100,000 of that debt into that building. And then, of course, having the Georgia Southern Museum on Main that's in there, once again that connection. Because I'm also part of the university, I can tell you that those connections, again, we talk about them a lot. They often don't manifest themselves, and they often don't sort of hold very long, and yet we're finding lots and lots of new ways that those things are beginning. I think, and the last point I'll make, and we can do question and answers, I'm not exactly sure how the dynamics are going to work today. I think the thing I'm probably most proud of is the work that our board has done in terms of both that building, but also the things that we've been able to do. You know, I've been very fortunate to serve on lots of boards. I think most of us in the room have. Whether they were boards at Georgia Southern that I serve on, times at various civic groups, and in my case, even International Olympic Advisory Boards. There's something very special about the CVB's board the last couple of years. It's a very active board. The talents that are there, people have all had a piece in the game. They all have some skin in the game. And it's not just a group of intelligent people. All of our boards are doing that. But it's a group that rolls their sleeves up and gets it done. And that's probably what makes it most fun and enjoyable, for me. Anyway, it has been fun to present. I don't know if we're going to do questions now. We're going to do it at the end, or we just want to sort of present some things. I'll leave that to you guys. But if nothing else, we got popcorn. So, okay. We're going to do questions. We kind of want to hear from everybody a little bit. I don't know what the best way to do it.
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
We can do it by unit per se, but and thank you. That was a great presentation. I'm going to get a 10 because I don't look like that anymore. When did y'all shoot that video? In the summer?
In May.
When was it?
In May.
It was started the summer season.
I do have a couple of questions for you, and I think you just answered one. How much was raised by the community?
Well over $100,000.
And what's the debt on the building now?
The debt on the overall debt on the building, honey, I might have to look for you to help on that. Anthony, what's our overall debt on the building right now? Overall debt on the building, the remaining debt. Do you remember what that note is?
Yeah, note was 250. And the fund was raised, cash was 151,000 throughout the community. Cash, and there was some like kind also. Different kind
that
as well.
50 debt on it?
Correct.
Okay. And, I mean, I'm just kind of curious, what's one thing you feel like that you wish you
one too, but I'm gonna defer, we've got some board members here, let them speak too. I think there are two things that quickly come to my mind. I think we have quickly hit the ceiling in terms of getting the exposure for the city on the conferences that we can get to, in terms of being able to market and bring those groups that are here. We've been able to get to some of the smaller ones, but bigger conferences that I think that can come and have a lasting impact. We absolutely do not have a travel budget and conference funds for that. We also absolutely don't come close to being able to have the printed materials. Those are small things. Those are some workarounds for sure that we can do. Chief amongst us was getting a new place that people could see. I think those things will continue to go for a long, long way, in addition to hopefully being the spark that happens along that way. But I'd like other board members to sort of weigh in on that question too.
I think staffing would be something that we could use. A number of years ago, we had probably 5 or 6 people working in the office. We got 2 full-time now with some interns and part-time help. Highly executive work an awful lot. There's not a lot sitting around, and somebody extra to help with marketing and that sort of thing would be a really big help, which hopefully would, then you'd see the benefit from that extra effort with the money that can go into marketing and someone to focus on that for a little.
I mean, the staffing, I think, is such an issue. One of the things we did of our own existing budget was to fund an intern from the public historian on campus. So we fund that graduate student who turns around and at least that work comes to us directly. You know, that's huge turnover, and that's a professional who's not yet trained. Okay. Thanks. Great job.
You might put somebody out back and take it.
I don't think I brought enough of the home room, so you're welcome to share it with them. Well, I'm afraid I didn't do exactly what you asked me to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a mid-year review about what's going on with our organization. And most of it is quantitatively. Qualitatively, I didn't go out and get interviews from people that can share with them, I think, their stories about their experiences with our organization. But I think quantitatively, I can share with you pretty much what's happening in our organization. So we're going to put together this and we can ask them. Very good. All right. And I'm going to read a little bit. The Anchor Center ended this past year in black. Now, of the 10 years that we have been open, this is only the second year that we actually did that. So that is a huge achievement for us. We are a young organization. If we were a startup business, you know that if you went to business school, George Southern, you'd find that it's 7 years before you would actually start making a profit if you were starting a business anyway. So as a small nonprofit, we weathered a recession. We developed a program after we received a facility. And I have to tell you, I feel like the CVB, our board has been very aggressive into turning our organization into what it is today. Even though we're a nonprofit, we run our nonprofit like a business. We focus a lot more on earned income instead of money's given to us by donations. And that's really because, first of all, Statesboro is a very giving community, but we felt like that we wanted to show the community that we could do our part and earn as much revenue as we could so that we're not necessarily a tax burden on the citizens. And that's interesting, that term, tax burden, because the arts is something that citizens should receive, and I also feel like it should be received from government. We have allocations from the federal government to the state government and down for the arts in our community. And at the end of my presentation, I can show you how well Statesboro's doing. And it's very good. I'm going to let you know that. So that's something that's really important to our organization, is to be as self-sustaining as possible without the use of any more tax dollars to operate. So, and just to give you an example, earned income for our programs equaled the same percentage, which is 37, that we receive actually from the city's operating budget and the hotel subs together. So I'm very proud of that. Thirdly, the percentage of our revenue from local government in relationship to our total revenue has dropped 5% in the last fiscal year. And that's been a trend that's continued to drop after the recession. Okay? These are participation numbers. How we garner these numbers is after every program we record on an Excel spreadsheet the number of participation that we have within that program. So these are numbers that we'd like to say are as accurate as possible. We know that we miss numbers a lot of times, but just to let you see right here, this is a 3-year comparison. In 2012-13, we had 63,000 visitors. That grew last fiscal year, to 70,000 visitors. And this year, you can see in the first 5 months of our fiscal year, we're already ahead 10,000 visitors from last year. So you can see that our growth is pretty rapid, but we're doing very well as an organization. Okay. So, mid-year wise, I just want to give you an example of the types of programming that we do, because that's very important. One of the things that we discovered after, or when the recession hit, is that we had to diversify the type of programs that we have. And so basically, I'm going to give you a breakdown of all those programs. The first is our professional shows. We do 5 a year. Already we have done 4 performances with 3 of the different shows. One of those shows we have 2 performances with. I don't go through these quickly. There you go. Our community theater has done 2 shows for a total of 7 performances. This is Miracle on 34th Street. We just ended this past Sunday. We had 4 great shows, very large audiences. The public loved it. We were very pleased with that. Our gallery season, we have had a total of 3 exhibitions so far this year. All 3 of those we've been able to feature regional or local artists and have done very well. We've actually sold a lot of artwork this year. Our Legends and Youth Gallery, we have a Legends Gallery is really a vanity gallery that allows people outside the community to come in and to showcase their work. We have rented that space to 4 different entities. Our Youth Gallery is where all our public art educators have the opportunity to showcase the works of their youth and their programs, and we have a listing of that schedule. So already we've done 10 of those exhibits this year. Our youth performances, we have 6 different units of youth programming. But, so far, since July to now, we have had 11 different performances. These are listing events. all of our youth schools, we have some Road, Christmas Road, Statesboro Youth Strengths, actually this tonight, after this meeting, and we'll end the winter with the Statesboro Youth Ballet Showcase. I want to tell you that Christmas Around the World did 3 shows again. It was very popular, had large audiences. We took that show this past Saturday to Glenville to an audience of a little over 400 people. The mayor was there, and they were thrilled with that conference. We were very pleased with that. We also do special events. Now, special events are not necessarily things that are mission-driven, but they are things that we feel like the public really enjoys, and we feel like that they're in need of our community. It also allows us to expand into some other areas that we do not have a lot of grassroots programming for. Examples of those, you can see Elvis having it up right there. We did 2 shows of Elvis. We had a faculty showcase that features the faculty at the Art Center. We do Rocky Horror Picture Show live that brings in a different audience than we normally get. We do Ghost Stories by Lantern Light, and the CBB was a proud sponsor of that. The Right Place Festival is something we collaborate with a variety of different groups, and we got 2 grants to actually help implement that program this year, and it was actually implemented at Performing Arts Center in Georgia Southern this year. We collaborated with Georgia Southern's Youth Department on a program called East Meets West concert. We also did a ballroom dance for our ballroom participants for a total of 8 programs. School matinees, we've done 1. We usually do 4 a year. We've only had 1 at the beginning of this 2 quarters of this fiscal year. It's the old Scarecrow. Every 4th grader in the city of Statesboro, with the exception of Portland Elementary School, actually came and watched this production that teaches students about local history, and there's lots of lesson plans that follow it. So it's an academic-driven program, and one that's important for us locally. Our youth classes, remember I told you, this is something that has become more so our primary product of our organization. It generates the most net revenue from any other program that we have. However, the importance of this program is so that youth can start at a very young age, grow up through our program throughout their life, and become arts patrons as they become older in our community. And that's very important for Statesboro, which, by the way, has taken them 10 years to develop arts culture in our community with a nice, good following of patrons. A total, we'll go back to that city because it's important for people to know that that's 516 different kids that come to our program a week to be a part of those 6 units of programming. That's a total of 41 different programs for the first part of our fiscal year, and that's a total of 9. There's actually 9 programs within that have already reached capacity. We don't leave adults out. We do have a variety of programs for adults. We had a total of 93 participants so far that participated in our adult program this fall. That's a total of 10 programs, and 2 of those programs have reached capacity. We also have an extensive summer camp program. This is reflective of only July, and one camp that we did during the fall during the school break for a total of 14 camps. We also, it's important for our organization because it's part of our mission to become the center for a vibrant, historic downtown, to be an economic driver. We too feel like the CBB, that we're an economic driver for our community, and particularly for our downtown area. And that is why we want to be supportive of all these extra activities that may not be directly related to our mission, but we feel like they're important to the vitality of our downtown area and our community at large. That's a listing of some of those events that we've done in the last 5 months. That's a total of 10 different events. We also have rentals, so in addition to everything that we actually do, we have groups from outside that come in and utilize our facility, and we appreciate Alan and the CBB for helping us to market our venue as such. We have weddings, and of course we do dance recitals, we have book signings, we do conferences as well. We had the NAACP State Conference here earlier in the fall. We hosted the Georgia Court of Appeals at our venue recently. We have a community Thanksgiving service. We even have a bodybuilding competition that Jan, you can participate in next year.
I think I better get my head.
Okay. So, Here's some
Good little hiatus
notations.
there.
That's kind of the idea programmatically what we do, but what that really resonates into, that's 135 programs we did by months. That's a lot. That's 135 programs, and the Everett Center has generated $154,000 in gross revenue in those 5 months. Comparably, right now, today, that is exactly what the city has given us in their general operating support and what we get for their general sales tax. It's the exact same number, that's kind of serendipitously. Each represents 36% of our revenue year to date. So this is what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to opening a new venue on West Main Street. You talk about that growth. Well, the footprint of our organization is too small to accommodate that type of growth. And to give people a valuable and an appropriate experience, we feel like we had to expand as an organization. We had to expand our footprint to accommodate that growth, and that's what we're doing. We have a 5-year plan. We're in the 4th year of that plan. We're working with the Georgia Center for Nonprofits. We got a $15,000 grant from Georgia Council for the Arts to come up with some directives, some deliverables that are going to take our 5-year plan, stretch it out another 5 years. We're almost close. Quickly, the Everett Center has an aggressive scope of work for the winter and spring. I gave you a brochure that reflects all of that. The Everett Center, along with other partners, will help implement the 2015 Georgia Museum and Gallery Association State Conference in January, and we'll also be working with Georgia Southern's Performing Arts Center to host the Georgia Presenters Biannual meeting in June of 2015 as well. Hopefully that'll bring some visitors into our community. And the Everett Center has already expanded their reach to several outlying areas, which I mentioned to you a few minutes ago, but we are in talks right now with Evans, Grevin, Emmanuel, and counties this coming year. I'm sure you'll ask some questions about that. This is something I want you to see, because I want you to know that you're doing a great job. The reason you have these 3 entities here is because the 3 entities work so hard for this community. They really do. I feel like sometimes the resources that we get to work with make it challenging for us, but we pull together and we support each other to do the things that we do. But the city, I think, has been the catalyst for all 3 of our organizations. Without the city, the existence of all 3 of our organizations would not be here. And an example of that is that the city allocates 11.69 cents per capita for the arts in Statesboro. And how do you compare that to Georgia? Georgia gives us basically 8 cents per capita. And by the way, Georgia is the lowest per capita giving state in the country. All right? So let's don't look at that as being a good thing. And our county allocates 0.1% per capita for the arts in Bullitt County.
So you're saying they give a penny?
They give a penny.
So they give a penny per capita in the county?
Correct.
So they give you what?
They give me
$700?
$1,000.
$7,000?
It's $1,000 roughly.
About, I was about to say $700.
Now, these figures certainly do not include Georgia Southern students, but I think this is good representation of the good work that you were doing as a council. Questions? I do have my president here to kick off. Either one of us would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
What's the status of the building on West Main?
We're gonna, our goal is to get in there by February and have our grand opening in March.
And what's the status of the capital campaign?
We have generated $200,000 in pledges, and we've collected, that I can't. Of this.
And that's for the building on West Main, or just in general?
No, that's in general. Some of those monies will be allocated to another community. We're in the silent. We're in a silent phase of that campaign, and we won't go public until we feel like we have the resources we need to go public.
I didn't see it mentioned in there.
Well, and I did mention that to you because we had it on public, and I know that the paper was here.
I mean, I did get something in the mail, so I didn't know what.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't know what. I apologize. I just saw this thing in the mail that said there was a campaign, so bad me.
But it's not, it's been mentioned, so the idea is not right.
Yeah.
So it's just the actual campaign is not, especially.
We have it at a large.
Don't act like we're, because it,
Sure.
And the only other question I'd ask is what I asked to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. What would you be doing that you cannot do right now if you had an increase in your budget?
As you can see from Tim's presentation, our focus has shifted from just presenting performances for the community to educating our children. And as we said, we're busting at the seams. This year we added a strings program, and they're even in elementary school. So we've got to have facilities for these children. We're already in West Main, that's gonna house our ballet. We hope eventually, there's gonna be 2 years from now, we've learned recently, we're gonna have our ceramics studio over here in the city campus. And then we still have the strings from that place to go. So growth in capital is what we have to have. We have to have some assistance either from our citizens or whoever would help us on maintaining these buildings so we'll have space for our children. And we think it's important to keep that downtown so that we'll have economic development between the campuses. New stores will open up, just like they did when the CBB opened their visitor center on South Main. Immediately they had the Chinese restaurant. Well, we've already got Humble, whatever, knickknacks moved in next door to where we're gonna renovate that building. So we think that's gonna work, and we wanna keep going with it, and that's our main mission right now.
And the idea is to take the corridors that are coming into downtown and create a venue and watch the field development that occurs in between those buildings. Now, on a much, much smaller scale, it's exactly what Scatty is now. They took like areas of their community, they go in and they put in a facility. They did not have a centralized location for the four zones, and then hopefully that infill development will occur, which is absolutely economic. Any questions? Lee?
I just, turn you good.
Okay.
So I just wanted to appreciate it. I like the fact that every time we do something downtown, whatever it is, there's something going on or being utilized. Even if it's not your focus, if something's going on downtown, you figure out a way to open the door, put somebody there. It's never closed. We can't say that about everybody downtown. Hell, we got people wanting to leave a light on during First Friday. We didn't figure that out. So I really do appreciate you to do that. One of the concerns, and still looking at your budget, you compare your square footage to other people's square footage, your utilities are still insane. I mean, it's not you. So I still don't, have we exhausted either our resources, and I guess I got a Robert, James, whoever we exhausted our resources to help battle that for him? I don't want us to absorb it, but at some point, you're probably, I would say you're 30% higher than what a square footage. You could build a brand new building and probably recoup the cost of the building in 20 years and what you waste in electricity. So is there have we done everything we can do? And if not, I don't want the Arts Center and your board spending money on a facility because it's older. I want you to spend money on the facility so that more people come in, and you're opening more hours and hire more staff. So I don't know what we need to do, and we'll talk, I guess the budget goes on, but that troubles me, Robert, that
Yeah, we've done the free stuff. Unfortunately, that's what we've done because we just didn't have the capital to go ahead and invest in the building yet. But there's some dollars in the 2013 SPLOST, which we just now started collecting this year. And unfortunately, we had some other things, just the roof and some things at City Hall that those monies had to go toward, like the air conditioner, the dehumidifier. But we do have some dollars to go in and put in some controllers, which we're looking at right now for City Hall and the Arts Center, to try to do the thing to give us those savings. And those are no-brainers. We just haven't had the money.
I think the city has done a great job. They put the film on our windows. It has reduced our energy costs, which is really appreciate that. And I also have to tell you that every person that comes into our downtown area, they look at that old Bank of Statesboro, that neoclassical building is a jewel for the city. it is a historic building that is, you know, one of the prominent buildings for me. In fact, if you look at most of the media that comes down, somebody can take a picture of that building.
Well, it is on our webpage.
It's great, and I love it.
It's the
I
picture
mean,
that we use for the city.
it helps us
Statesboro.
out as an organization, but it is, it's a historic jewel for our community. Preserving it was the problem.
Well, I guess, me asking just between now and budget, if you don't mind, and if you say, hey, we did a $10,000 study, and that's gonna yield a, 8% reduction or something. I mean,
We actually got a pro.
10% reduction on his changes his whole world.
Yeah. We're working on it now. We're working on city halls, and they'll be right behind it. So we should have it by budget.
You're appreciative. And,
Good question.
What if I were one, then we probably need some construction.
We need to ease on because we want to make sure that the development authority has enough time for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. City Manager.
We are not eating popcorn to be rude. We simply put in front of us.
Applaud them for bringing it.
You were later, you would've known why we brought it.
I don't care what it is. I mean, it could be for a terrible reason. I love it. Reason because it's delicious.
The city was founded in 1866, and it has had its ups and downs since then. So the SDA is.
Is this your before and after
Yeah, it is.
shot?
This is the before shot. Actually, this is the improved one.
This is what we did this year.
Yeah.
This is where we started last January.
We're asking the city to pave some streets.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, we feel like that due to these organizations and the vision of our council and our mayor and city manager, that we really have a lot of momentum going for us right now as a community, and we're just grateful to be a small part of it.
No.
My client here. We are like technology retarded sometimes. Can you not click his own name?
All right, our downtown is growing. These are just some of the new businesses so far this year. We're working on a lot of them. We have the privilege of working with these businesses. To one extent or another, and of course our goal is to see that all of them are as successful as possible. I'd like to read our mission statement right quick because I think it really reflects what we try to do on a daily basis. Main Street Statesboro and the Downtown Statesboro Development Authority are committed to the economic development, historic preservation, and beautification of the Statesboro downtown area. Our purpose is to revitalize downtown economically and socially within the context of historic preservation by increasing financial viability and ensuring the success of business. And I say that because our businesses tend to be sole proprietors, and it is a challenge for them every day, and we consider it an honor to work with them. One of the big projects this year that we've, the SDA initiated and also funded was the redevelopment powers law, the TAD. I believe we have a reading on it today. Again, that was a community effort. We were thankful to be a small part of it. We appreciate the South Main Street revitalization team and the city, as well as the council, for having a vision, for looking for tools that help us redevelop our area, using the resources that the law and our community allows us. So we're very excited. We look forward to this not only being a downtown TAD and the redevelopment, but that I have no doubt that Andy and her team and Robert and you guys will find other areas for it to be used that will also help our community. We're thankful for council and our mayor taking the lead with our other stakeholders, which is the county and the school board, to help see that these things are successful. All right, downtown renovation. It's one of the things that we work real hard at. Next slide. The E-zone, I'm trying to give you a progression. The DSDA over the last 3 years has renovated more than 12,000 square feet of property that was in decline. we go in and we try to find productive use for it. This was before. Of course, the city campus now is, due to a lot of extent, Dominic Calvi is now being very successful. And of course, the city partnering with this was a DSDA and city partnership. We went in together on this, and now due to the city's commitment to economic development and job creation and leveraging a $1.1 million grant, this will continue to be a main player on downtown and on Main Street. This was a three-way partnership, again, with the Avery Center for the Arts, the city, and the DSDA, and again turned an old parks building into productive use. We like to think that when we do these projects, they're, at least for as long as we'll be around, we like to build a solid foundation, get things that are improved, move on to another, that have restoring our downtown to the traffic and use and stuff like that. Avery Center for the Arts has been probably been one of the stronger uses of some of our projects. 39 West Main Street, we just finished that project up. That was about 4,800 square feet of space, and it was falling in, damage control. We tend to be the buyer of last resort when we went in. Fortunately, we have a strong, committed board that understands economic development and adaptive reuse of the dilapidated project. This had a lot of components, and one is that we wanted to restore this particular building into its historic significance, because the best thing that downtown has going for it is their downtown look. We've noticed that throughout the nation, that you get things like town centers, and basically what they're doing is duplicating a downtown in that location. So we're restoring ours to that, and that's what it is today. Really excited about Humble Abodes, and that's a new business. I hope everyone here is visiting and shopping in there. It's a great, exciting store. It's the kind of stores you look for downtowns that have a lot of personality, that are unique, and we were fortunate to have some. Our downtown incentive program still is a viable package for new businesses. It's been very helpful in some of our infill development for residential use, and it's still used from time to time with businesses and restaurants that come in. I appreciate Mandy for a lot of work that she does to see that that's implemented and used by the folks in the year. So that thing will actually be coming up this year, I believe. And so we may want to have a work session looking at how we would like to extend that as we go through. One of the things that we do like to do is our facade grants, and this one we was particularly worked on was taking down that big sign, working with them, and we partnered with them to help remove that sign. Trying to, because I believe outside of some assistance from us, they could have legally left the sign there and fixed it up. But they were great partners. They were very eager to work with us, looking for ideas, and we were able to get that sign down with the lumps. On Time Fashion was another one that had these busted out windows and stuff, and we kind of worked it in. So we have to fix those windows as long as we did that. But they invest obviously a large chunk of money. This is one thing that the downtown development can do, and this is where I think the city and the development authority needs to be aware of and work closely together, is that downtown development can work in public-private partnerships, whereas the city is limited on their ability to do that. So when you guys come across some good ideas or some good projects that you feel like can make it, that was a dead corner that really could have been nothing more than a parking lot. We're fortunate to have a developer who lives here and cares about our community, and just asked for really a small partnership in putting a fountain there. So we all felt like that was a game changer for that corner. It worked out real well. So as the city moves forward, these are things that we can keep in mind, that when we want to raise the bar, the whole idea is not to help somebody complete a project. The idea is to raise the bar. Yeah, we'll help you put it there, but you're going to have to do a little bit more. So that works even with our facades, and even when in the buildings that we buy and fix up, we probably fix them up a little bit higher. But when we do that, we hope that that flows over to the building beside you, and that the investor, instead of putting X dollars in, will put Y, because we'll match a little bit more to it. So we really work hard to push that developer, push that owner, and push that property to a higher level that we feel like our community deserves, which I think is what we do. And I think we do deserve that, actually. I think times we need to hold that bar high as we possibly can without deterring economic development. One of the things that we do is try to keep our downtown focused is a realtor tour. That also helps us keep our law departments in the forefront. We are extremely successful in downtown living. We have 0 occupancy and 100% full all the time with the waiting list. And they call our office all the time, and we have a great working relationship with them. So this kind of just is our effort to keep some of the frontline folks aware of what we're doing downtown. Downtown events is a big part of our organization. I'm trying to get a little sheet on this, go through there. One of our businesses, Maria Proctor's, started basically on her own. She's on our board. We love her. She's great. She started this. It'll be in January 2nd, so I ask you to go and show up. They are partnering with Foster Bullock. It keeps getting bigger every year, so I hope you guys can come and help support that. This was an economic development that we did since we had so many weddings, or so many shops downtown that did weddings. We started this. It actually kind of took on a life of its own and kind of grew, and now we've been able to, actually we've tapped out. We have to turn people away because it's expensive. Spring in Statesboro is a partnership with Georgia Southern. Keep It Beautiful and Farmers Market, and big event. Excited about it. First Fridays, Cal, or we about tapped out on the resources that we can do between just Elaine and I for these events. We've kind of got them flowing, so hope you've been kind of doing. Take Town Blue, I actually did, she won't take it, I give Heidi a lot of credit for that. She did a great job for that and parents. So, this is one of our big things. It's turned into big things, and these things turn into big things because we have a good community. We've got good partners. I congratulate the chamber for taking the lead on this one. And the city, I know it's tough to shut down streets, but they do it. And this has become, I have no doubt, probably in the next few years will be one of the larger events in our downtown. Scarum Square is overwhelming, but again, I appreciate the city coming in and helping us with the police and Robert and Jason's team come in and help us keep it clean. That is it's about as big as we can handle on that. So we are enjoying it, but we work hard to make that pull that well. Holiday Christmas again is a partnership. The city takes a big role in this, and I appreciate David Art Center for taking such a huge role too. As our events have expanded and grown, I will give David Art Center a lot of credit for taking ownership in these events. Can't underestimate how much they bring to the table, but they bring resources and facilities and manpower and a lot of expertise in these big events. So there's really no way we can do this without David Art Center. Farmers Market, big deal. Hope you guys are visiting that. That's part of our organization. We've had a banner year this year. 36,000 attendees. 240,000 sales. It's a big deal. We probably would, I know Mayor asked us what we would like. I think a home for the farmer market could be something to be considered in the future. And the weekend, turkey trot. One thing that we are, just since we're, like everybody else, trying to stand on health, there's really, and I can't overemphasize, there's no way we can do these events without interns and volunteers and support that we have. There's no way you can do some 20 events with 2 people. It just doesn't happen. So thankful for the Center for the Arts and the SCDB and the city, and over 5,000 volunteer hours. We have interns that we've got a working partnership with Georgia Southern's, and we work with their SOAR classes and their leadership classes and school classes that come down. I mean, and that's probably a low number, but it is an enormous amount of resources that we have to go out and pull this off. And I give Elena credit because she works with most of these guys and these interns that we bring in, which adds extra manpower to ours. But Without this, these events could not happen. And we worked out partnerships with these that really help make these. I don't know if you realize, but Party Harbor Rensa, as a sponsor, does not charge us bring it down. So Coke is in there. A lot of these other ones that you see actively either bring manpower, bring events, or write little sponsor checks for Saxby's, the Scarlet Square, and a lot of things like that. So our sponsors are, again, another buy-in from our community in our downtown to help us be successful. And then, of course, our partnerships. They're all extremely valuable to us for our day-to-day operations. So without them, again, we would not be able to accomplish what we do. I think that the city, our community expects these events, but without these organizations being part of these events, don't happen. Lane, do you have anything you'd like to add? She's an integral part. She's the brains and the beauty of our outfit. And again, Elena keeps our office running, and without her, again, these events would not be successful. So I keep saying events because they're a lot of work. They really are. Spend a month on it, it's over in 2.5 hours. It's kind of disappointing. And that concludes it.
What's going on with the burned out building? Down there on the corner, Allen or south of Allen?
Yeah, that is owned by the Holland Estates. They have said they plan on rebuilding it. So they have said that they did call our office, and we told them what we felt like would be the best route to take. And they told us that it did burn, that they did have insurance, and the insurance company was going to pay for the rebuild. So it hadn't hurt us. But they tend to move really slow. But they're not here, to their credit, so I'm sure they may not be as anxious as I am to get that thing done.
And you're dealing with 4.
There's 3, and one tends to be calling the shots.
Eva or Lisa?
Eva.
Yeah.
Mayor Franklin, where is your
Keep bringing that up, those two.
We do appreciate Tim's partnership in that building down there. They are probably our anchor tenant and probably drive more traffic downtown than anybody else. And they probably use more buildings than anybody else. So, great partner.
Just kind of what we're saying with Tim, between now and budget time, I'd like to know, what tangibly can we purchase or do that helps you, your budget? You're constantly renting things. We did lights in this building, lights went down.
Yeah, that was a game changer for us. That's true. That was huge. Probably one of the things, if you're looking for events, probably power is our biggest challenge. Yeah. We're blowing circuits all over downtown.
This year was
a disaster. Yeah. I'm just glad I wasn't there to have it. So
Stephen didn't figure that out, got it done. Can you put that before us? Yeah, it just surprised us this year because it was just so
we want it to get bigger too.
Yeah, it's a problem to have.
We've got 30 vendors, but I want it 50. I'd love to see that be a regional draw where everybody all over is coming to our city.
I was hoping you would suggest sound. You have to suggest that.
Yeah, sound would be great. Yeah, sound is good. That's why I need partners. Sound.
But honestly, I mean, for my take, I would invest in sound on Main Street because honestly, we need to start moving events to Vine Street.
I just mean
because it's so much harder to place than East Main.
We need sound of some sort. I don't care if it's a trailer.
Yeah,
I've found in more than one occasion that relying on someone to handle the sound for us, we get a B+ person to do it, and they get a C- for it. We can go out and buy it right, and be done with it for
yeah. On that, and there are properties for sale. I think I'm not sure how this will play out, but I think the TAD is a game changer. I know everybody says it's just one component, but I think it's a big component. I'm not sure how that'll play out, but I'm very optimistic. I think we've shown the trend that people do like to live downtown. All of if you build it right, do it right, you can get plenty of people to live downtown.
I commend all 3 entities on what you presented tonight. tonight, they were all a little bit different, which is fine. That's what I was really looking for. You did a great job. I learned a lot. I've met with you already a couple times, and I learned something each time. So I know it's hard what you do, and it takes a lot of volunteers and it takes a lot of y'all, and we'll continue to be a good partner from the city side.